Hello, this is Joseph at Lightspeed. So sometimes we may want to measure our sales performance more in accordance with our in-house fiscal years than the calendar year. There's a couple of ways we can use analytics to do this type of report, and I'm going to show you how. So we'll be using a sales report to do this. We'll be using the functions of add months, extract months, and possibly extract years. And it's worthwhile noticing as well, we need to be sort of careful with the filters because even as we change the convention of our fiscal year, the years convention in analytics do not. And so we just need to be careful when we're defining what years we're talking about. So to begin, let's look at a sales report. So let's begin by creating a sales and inventory report. This is using a sales model, so we're looking at sales data here. Let's begin by saying we're looking at sales over the past 3 years. So we'll say the sales completed date is in the past 3 years. We're also going to be using the sales month. So I'm going to put a filter on to the month by saying the sales completed month is not null. Let's also add the month to our report. And let's look at a measure here, perhaps the number of sales. Let's run. So now we get a count of sales for each month over the past 3 years. Now, when we have a different fiscal year, essentially what we're going to be doing is creating a different logic about the first month of the year and then what that year is. Let's say, for example, our fiscal year begins on July the 1st, whereas the calendar year might say this is month 7 of 2018. Perhaps in our store, we actually consider this month 1 of 2019. So to do this, we could use the add month function. I'm going to go up to the custom fields and we'll create a new custom dimension. The function is add months. So I'm going to start typing add and then we see it come up here. So add months requires 2 arguments. The first is how many months are we going to add to a specific date. In our case, by making July January, we're going to add 6, followed by a comma. The second argument is what date are we actually applying that change to. So in this case, it will be the completed month of the sale. And we can see it here. Let's also change the title here. We'll call this now Fiscal Month. And let's save. And run. So now we get this timestamp that pushes the month forward by 6 months. So for example, this month here, January 2018, is actually considered month 7 of fiscal year 2018. If we look down here, July 2018, we can see now that this is being considered month 1 of fiscal year 2019. So we're off to a good start. Now this is also a little bit heavy in terms of our report. So let's go now to the fiscal month. And I'm going to edit. Now to this function, we're going to add another one. In this case, we're going to use the extract month function. So I'm going to start typing extract, and we see it here. And then let's follow this with a closing bracket. Again, let's save, and we'll run. So now this is returning just one number in accordance with the month of the year. In this case, we see 1 showing up from July because we've determined that July is the first month of our fiscal year. So far, so good. Now let's do the same thing for the fiscal year. To do this, let's click on the gear icon for our fiscal month, and we'll choose Duplicate. So we're going to use the same core for our year. But instead of extracting the month, let's actually extract the year from our fiscal month. We'll also change the formatting so it shows up as a proper year. We're going to change it to ID. Let's save, and we'll run. So now we get a year that corresponds to the fiscal year associated with my calendar. We see 2019 begins in July and continues on through June of 2019, at which point it becomes the first month of the next fiscal year. Let's also give this a better title. We'll say instead of fiscal month copy, we'll just call this fiscal year. Let's save, and we'll run. So now that we have a convention for both our fiscal months and those years associated with those fiscal months, we actually don't need the raw data on the report anymore. So let's remove the sale completed month, and let's pivot on the fiscal year. And let's run. So now we can get a comprehensive overview of the number of sales lined up with our fiscal years. So thank you very much for watching this video. You can find more resources on using analytics here in the Video Help Center and also in our analytics section on Community.